They just had to watch the music. It sounds like a DMT shirt.
Caught with your pants down. I done snuck in the goddamn back door. I'm smeddling around. I'm inside your garden. Guess what? I found your rutabagas. They're my rutabagas now. You can't take it, can you? I'm a rutabaga burglar. I'm going to come to your mom's house, and I'm going to burgle something else, her sweet ass, and I'm going to be your new grandpappy. Face facts. We're family now. Stop showing disrespect. Go mow the lawn. You're a little bitch. You'll never amount to anything. And all that because you had to open your mouth. Oh, I fucked your grandma, kid.
Fucking punch.
Her IUD's on my dick. We're back.
Hey.
We're here. Welcome to Helltown Radio. Introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Lita, and I do art. Just kidding, everybody. Although this weekend I did identify as a female comedian. My name is Christopher Allen Kenworthy for the judge, jury, and executioner. And I'm here on Helltown Radio doing fun stuff with my fun friends like I like to do. And, just trying to be an all-around cool dude. That's why I wear this cool dude shirt. Thank you very much to the boys over at Bargoyles, Isaac Ignacio, and Nick Meyer. The motherfuckers are my homies. Check out my episode 131. I just need a few more views so I can get over 200. But with us today, we have, is this your second time or third time on the show? Third time, yeah. He is a thricer. Three-timer.
You know what this means.
We got to go airtight on him.
Nice.
How close do I got to talk to this? Okay.
Yeah,
it's a good battle between you and Mike Hasty to see who gets the fourth show.
Ooh. And that's an interesting.
How's Mike Hasty's performances?
Oh, Mike Hasty's got a wild life. He's beat the government like 3 times.
4 times.
4 times.
Yeah.
I could tell by the hair. He probably deserved it more than me.
Oh, you can pull this all the way too.
Yeah, pull it up on you.
You can lounge like a motherfucker.
Yeah, you can pull that thing all the way up. You can chill out. Mike Hasty's episodes are amazing because Mike Hasty's episodes, he starts telling you the story, and all of a sudden, I felt like a middle-aged black woman on a park bench in Alabama. Like, it was like listening to Forrest Gump if Forrest Gump had like gotten laid a lot more and did a lot more acid. And it was the first episode was really awesome. And it might be because also had consumed quite a bit of the cannabis products, but it was like I just felt lost in the story. Like he was telling this story, it was coming to life, and it was just like listening. It was like Forrest Gump. It was all Americana.
Oh yeah, he's like the embodiment of a Grateful Dead song.
He's the embodiment of a lot of stuff. I've been recently doing a joke if he's in the crowd and we're local. Is like I call him the human horseshoe crab. Because, horseshoe crabs, they derive a anticoagulant and anti-aging mechanism out of the blood. They synthesize the blood and they make medicine out of it. And then they release them alive still. They don't kill them.
So he'd be on stage. He's like, wasn't that a good joke? The mechanism?
Well, no, but the mechanism is that Pfizer uses Mike Hasty in the same manner, except for they synthesize his blood into Viagra. Bump ching.
Yeah.
Get it? Because he's a big fucking hornball. Look, Mike Hasty.
He does well for himself.
He slays the most out of anybody at the Catamount, period.
They don't call him Hasty for nothing.
He's hasty when it counts. When it counts. That means he can.
Clogging up all the lanes.
But yeah, he has. So his victories over the government include he was in the Air Force. He got an honorable discharge because he had started a protest.
A strike.
Amongst the American airmen. He was in the Air Force that because the European armed forces they didn't enforce a haircutting policy for them, so these European guys were growing their hair out all luscious and lovely like, and Mike got jealous because he was stuck there with the Gomer Pyle look. Yeah. And so he started a strike so that because he wanted the American airmen to be able to have the same hair as the European dudes, and the government was like, no, dude. And he ended up that because of whatever because he's good at the legalese, he ended up getting an honorable discharge and being let go to go grow his hair out and do a lot of acid and shit.
When you said he was on, like he had a strike, I thought he meant you killed someone with a plane. He's like, nah, he just wanted to grow his hair out like a Grateful Dead member. Like that's.
I mean, but you know that
you die on whatever sword you want to die on. I get it.
Yeah, dude. So that was one of them, and then another one is actually really interesting because he had sent me before we even knew who Mike Hasty was, and I just met him. And he was like, and we had spoken. And I was like, oh, this guy's a 75-year-old yoga instructor and musician. And he's gonna be interesting to talk to about that, right? I didn't realize that we essentially had, like I said, he's like a cross between like Timothy Leary, Forrest Gump, and Jason Bourne. And like he's been in the CIA, he's been in the Air Force. That dude has good hand-to-hand combat skills, and he's got good reach, man. So I'm a little bit intimidated by him physically. But
now you suggested things. A charity fight?
Oh my god, charity fight. Who would it be? Mike Hasty versus who'd be a good opponent for him?
Sargis.
Yeah.
No, man. He would make quick work out of Sargis, man. Sargis is like he's like King Hippo, man. You push him over once and it's a fucking KO, bro.
He is big, and he did say that he trained some stuff. I've never seen him do any striking or do anything, but I don't know. Man. Sometimes, like I've recently figured out that people think that like I look like I couldn't whip somebody's ass, and I was like, what?
Man, I'll tell you what, dude. And a future guest, Abe, man, he was like that was like we were at Hog Shack. I think you might have been there with me that night, and we were at Hog Shack, and I knew who Abe was just by virtue of going to these open mics and seeing his photography.
Yeah. Also, actually, shout out to Abe because he actually just reached out to someone for me. So hell yeah.
Abe's a good dude.
Abe's awesome. Abe's
solid dude.
So Abe comes up to me. He's like, Helltown Radio, and I was like, yeah. I was like, why? And very flattering. It was wild. And he's like, yeah. He's like, you're friends with George Peters, right? And I was like, yeah. He's like, yo. He's like, you're safe when you're with George Peters. And that spoke volumes. I know George. I've always known. I could sense. You know, it's my innate thing to be able to tell who's going to be able to dismantle me or not. And I'm glad we became friends.
Yeah, so you're a big bear. You know the whole would you rather be in the forest with a man or a bear? And you're like the lovable bear.
Yeah. Well, he's very safe. George is a very safe guy for everybody. But so Abe saying that was like that, and to me, I was like, I was flattered about the Helltown Radio, but I was impressed by the fact that he came out as a George Peters fan. Like, do you know? Like, I mean, I'm a big George Peters fan, and we're just very few and far between. So, like, you know, publicly speaking, everybody that knows him privately is a big George Peters fan. George, you're a fucking amazing human being.
Thank you.
I don't think you get the roses you deserve sometime on the show, but
I don't need them.
We wouldn't have the show without George and the efforts he puts in and this NASA computer station that he has going on behind the cameras and a lot of the time, effort, and financial resources that this man puts into the show. So we gotta really tell him what's up. And
that was a hell of an intro. You ad-libbed that whole thing?
Yeah,
that was actually a ventriloquist act. I just moved my mouth and George throws his voice.
No, but yeah. If anybody wants any work recording podcasts, I'm very cheap.
He is, yeah. Him and you and Chris Bishop, Chris Bishop. If you need any amazing graphic promotional work, and this goes for venues, this goes for artists, this goes for anybody, performers, promoters. Chris Bishop he's been doing the posters for the Catamount Lounge.
They always look wonderful.
They crush, dude. Like, I mean, I've had my face kind of on one and like my name on a few, but that's a big accolade in my on my repertoire, in my resume.
If I am privileged in my new musical project to play at the Catamount, I hope we get our name on one of those wonderful posters.
100%. But yeah, so like Monica Daly, who just did a headline at the Catamount this weekend. The first thing she said to me when she got there, before she even said hello, was like, hey, is the guy that made the posters going to be here tonight? because she doesn't know him. She just was very impressed by his work, and that's the second time in 3 days that somebody had approached me and been like, "Hey, can you give me this guy's information so that I can get in touch with him and procure some of his services?" So everybody should be getting on this. That dude's his work is.
Oh yeah, I framed my poster from him.
Your poster is awesome.
Yeah,
dude.
I framed that.
It has a very Scarface feel to it.
Yeah.
You know, like it's like the beginning of the takeover, man. Of the
I look like I'm in trouble, but yeah.
You always look like you're in trouble unless you're wearing the Winnie the Pooh hat. The Winnie the Pooh hat, I think, is a great. You know, if you ever had to run a lot of drugs up and down an interstate, you wore that hat, and I'd be like a cop. I'd roll up, be like, this guy is doing no harm.
Oh yeah, the guy addicted to honey and moves like a junkie. That's not a.
Yeah, Winnie,
He skitters.
He was, Winnie the Pooh essentially is like me. I look sometimes at my little jar situation that I have at home, and I now I can relate to that as an adult to Winnie the Pooh because I do have my little honey jars and stuff, and sometimes like the concentrates, there'll be little residual parts left at the end, and I feel like Winnie the Pooh when he gets to the bottom of the jar and he's sitting there like yeah, he's trying to get his little just a smidgen. And but yeah, Winnie the Pooh. I always loved Winnie the Pooh. I loved everybody loved Tigger.
What'd you say?
We read
You heard me, motherfucker. But Owl was always my fave because Owl was just chill. He was just so chill about everything all the time.
Was Owl?
Owl was the
he lived in he wasn't part of the real crew. He part of the extended crew.
Owl was part of the whole thing, man. Owl was the intellect. That was like his whole. That was his
in
thing.
every scene, he just chilling on the branch.
Yeah,
Owl.
yeah. Whenever I think about the crew, it's always Winnie, Tigger, Big Tigger, Eeyore, and Piglet.
Don't you remember? So Owl's house.
Yeah, but he was like
crashes.
Yeah.
And he has to move into who gives up their crib? Eeyore gives up his crib.
Yeah.
For Owl. And
yeah, he like Bagheera and shit. He like the side hype man.
Well, I don't know, man. I think that Tigger,
we're debating Disney.
Tigger was like the later edition. Owl was 100%. We can Google. I mean, you got the.
I
I
probably only know this because of Poor People cable. Because I didn't get Disney Channel, so it'd just be whatever Disney they put on regular TV.
And do not.
But they would
not
only
middle class shame me, motherfucker.
No. There's nothing wrong with it. Like we had it later.
Don't middle class shame me, man.
You know how I got cable in the '90s?
Yeah.
One of my uncles that was with less scruples was like, "Oh, this is how you steal cable. Just buy a splitter and split off your neighbor's line." And I was like, "What?" And he was like, "Yeah, that's all you got to do." So fucking the next day, we went to Walmart and bought a splitter with our lawnmower money, and then kicked that top off and split it on, and we had cable for like 2-3 years for free.
Yeah, I think that stealing cable is actually a tradition that transcends socioeconomic situation.
Dude. You don't want to pay for that.
Oh, yeah.
Rich people be stealing a lot of cable too.
Oh yeah, dude. If you live in an apartment complex and you're paying for cable, you dumb as shit. All that shit is in one room in one of the utility closets, and you are a splitter away. And it's easier to hide those ones. I had a friend that did that shit, and you just push the wires and everything behind the other big group of wires, so they don't see the splitter.
Now you just go on YouTube. You're like, "Yo, did it?" And
yeah,
whatever you want to fucking see, you see.
Yeah, get one
that
of those
was a flex
boxes.
back in the 90s.
Oh yeah, dude. Kids don't know about this. Having to be resourceful.
We pirate shit now.
Yeah.
Man, in college at Virginia Tech, and you're wearing your tech hat. We can segue into a couple things off this. My buddies, it was Jacob and his brother. Fuck, I'm drawing a blank off this. Anyways,
Shakir,
the Andrews brothers. They used to have Derek and Jacob. They had the Andrews brothers. They had the Direct TV. They had the chip for it, and we'd watch all the wrestling pay-per-views on it, and it was so much fun to steal all that cable. And I don't feel bad about that. That's something that I actually feel that you're doing a service to the cable industry because you're creating jobs for people that then have to try to defeat that. So it's sort of like you're creating a workforce for people that went and got a college degree and don't have anything else to do with themselves besides try to keep people from watching awesome free stuff. But dude, so I went to Tech last Wednesday for the Metallica show.
Oh yeah, how was it?
The historical Metallica show. Well, I went with my friend Chris Carbone. Shout out Bone. He's gonna be on the show probably in 3 weeks or so. He's got to work out some stuff for his child watching, but he'd be a great dad. And shout out to his beautiful wife Crystal for allegedly letting us, or not allegedly, but whatever it is, for letting us borrow them in the future. But anyways, we went and we drove down, and getting there, you know, I haven't been down there in 22 years. So, and it's been, and when I went there, you know, it was, like I said, 22 years ago, a lot has changed and whatever. So we got there, man, I was just geographically lost, man. I haven't been, like, I used to ride a BMX bike and skateboard, all those back streets, everything.
I delivered there. I know those roads. I mean, there's like 4 of them, but yeah, I know all 4 of those roads.
But I felt like either I was going through the Mandela effect, or I just did a lot more drinking and smoking than I remember in college. Because
wait, you go to Tech too?
Yeah.
Oh, gang shit, hell yeah.
Yeah, I lived in Clover Valley. I lived in Clover Valley. I lived in Pritchard was the dorm I was in.
Oh,
Pritchard? When it was all male.
Yeah, what a gay boy. Nah, actually, I lived in the.
Yeah, that's actually a thing, you know.
When they integrated it. Yeah, no, I had an all dudes dorm. I think they put the chicks on. So like the first 2 rooms were I don't know how to keep. Oh, okay.
You want it about like that close, yeah.
Oh shit, I sound a little bit more like a man. All right, cool. Nah, I lived in Vader Hall though. It's I remember when I got arrested. They had like my mugshot on the website, and some dude printed it and then put it on every single door. And I hope the 3rd floor chicks are like, "Yo, okay, we got a."
What'd you get arrested for?
Oh, so this is my first month in college. I blacked out. And then I made it back to my room, and I fell asleep. And some dipshit was downstairs cooking popcorn or something, fucked up the fire alarm. Everyone had to evacuate. I'm sleeping through my alarm. I wake up to cops and paramedics asking if I can send to a breathalyzer, and I'm like, no. And they're like, all right, we gotta take you in. I was like, yeah, can I repent? And then they just took me in. It was my first month in college, and then I had to do like the VSAP classes. And I told them my story, and they're like, oh, there is nothing we can do to help you. You just got fucked.
That's terrible, yeah, dude. So, just because in the tradition of me being a historical one-upper and a person that likes to throw my relative stories in, so I as well was a person who got in deep shit. I was the first person in 1998 to go to the hospital for alcohol poisoning. It was the first Thursday of the year, and it was my roommate and I got our homie to go buy us handles of liquor. So we each got our own handle of liquor of Jim Beam, and we got together in a dorm room, and everybody got on AOL Instant Messenger and was ding 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 ding, you know,
like, trying to get some pussy with fucking Skins Boy 89.
Mine was only dank 7-Eleven. That was my 7-Eleven, not 420. And so we ended up having a bunch of people get together in my dorm room, and it was a bunch of people from my high school and stuff. And like in about 45 minutes, because I drink fast and I don't understand processing, I drank probably about 3/4 of a handle of Jim Beam. And at that point in time, I was 18-year-old Chris, which was a lot lesser than 45-year-old Chris and 44-year-old and whatever. I have 3 more days until I'm 45. But anyways.
Hey, happy birthday.
Thank you. I invite you to the birthday party on Sunday.
Hell yeah.
Do you check out your invite on Facebook?
I didn't get the invite on Facebook.
You got 100%. If you didn't, then I apologize. But so anyways, I end up doing that, get really drunk, and I'm like, and it's a lot like Tina always calls me, the grown Bart Simpson. I get this brilliant idea, and by this point I'm blacked out, and I grab my skateboard and I start skateboarding in the hallway. And as I'm skateboarding by the fire alarm, I'm like, it'd be hilarious if I pull the fire alarm. This is the day. This is way before cameras and all that shit. So this was a normal. Like people used to pull fire alarms all the time when I was there. I pull the fire alarm, causes everybody to have to go outside. Right, we have to evacuate the building.
So you're the type of shit that gets me arrested.
Well, I'll get to the Well, I got myself in trouble. I didn't get arrested, but I did get disciplinary. So I pull like Bart Simpson. I'm skating by and I see the thing. I'm like, hey, dude, and I pull the thing, and we all have to go outside. So we're outside, and we're out, and now I get outside, and I'm like. And so everything I'm telling you is third party at this point in time because it's all things that were told to me. And so one of the RAs sees me and he's like, hey, are you drunk? And I'm like, nah, are you drunk? Like whatever. And
you're drunk.
Yeah, and I'm very impressed by the way that I handled myself as a blacked out child. And so the guy's like, he's like, he's like, all right, you come with me. You're gonna come with me. You're in trouble, or whatever. And I'm like, oh shit. So he pulls me inside. We go into the main foyer. You know Pritchard, right? Like, so you go. There's like steps, and then you have like a platform, and then there's the elevators.
Yeah, that's the biggest building in the place, ain't it?
It is, yeah.
Yeah, that's where everyone lives.
So I'm like, the guy turns his back for 1 second. I see the doors on the elevator closing. I like Indiana fucking Jones head dive into the elevator, make it to my room, pass out. So the RA's freaking out because they were worried about me dying in my sleep, and so all he knows is my name is Chris. So they search every room that has a Chris in it. They find me. I'm on the 5th floor, so they find me after whatever X amount of minutes. Send in the paramedics, send in the cops, and so I wake up the next morning and I'm in the hospital. I get up, I'm like freaked out because I've got all these things stuck in me. I pull it all out. I check myself out. My friend picks me up, and on the way out the door, the lady at the register was like, "You're hilarious," and I'm like, "Why is that?" And they're like, so when we came in, she was one of the EMTs. She was just happened to be at the register for wherever they call it, the entry thing. She's like, yeah, when we got you last night, we asked you what year it was because we were trying to check your coherency, and you said 1984. And what's impressive is that we asked you who the president was, and you responded Ronald Reagan. What's more impressive is that when we asked you what the vice president was, you got Dan Quayle correct. While I was blacked out, like hammer time as a child, and that's my big, that was my thing. Then subsequently I got in trouble for selling weed out of my dorm room, which led me to where we are today.
If you ask a blackout kid today who's our president, that shit could turn into a rally real quick.
Dude, you ain't lying.
Who's the president? Trump! Trump! If you're in Charlottesville, yeah. Fuck UVA. All right.
Is that real? I don't know if.
Yeah.
What?
The
Charlottesville riots?
Oh, that's right.
Remember?
Oh, yeah.
That was like the first episode that like got everyone all.
Yeah, they got tiki torches and lost their damn mind.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. That was tiki torches. Oh, speaking of tiki torches, I need to pick some up for the party this weekend. Oh man.
You could go to Rural King.
Rural. What? That's such a weird word. Is it rural?
Yeah, I always say it wrong. But I lean back on my blackness, so I can get away with mispronouncing words, and it's stylish instead of unintelligent.
Yeah, correct. You are correct, sir.
Yeah, don't educate me.
I have special powers.
Man. Yeah, dude. Yeah, but going down to Blacksburg, so it was weird. It was like you went there, and it was, first of all, it was, very, it was weird because I couldn't recognize anything. But we were there for the Metallica concert, so I'm going to this Metallica concert. I'm there with my buddy Carbone. He's a big headbanger dude. I'm a fucking little headbanger dude. We're two crusty stony dudes. We were talking about Pauly Shore all week. And we get there, and I thought there was gonna be a lot of college kids. I knew there was gonna be a lot of college kids at the show. But we get there, and there's this big historical event. It's like, it's Metallica, it's Suicidal Tendencies, it's Pantera, it's like everybody I really want to see in one place.
I mean, it's Metallica at Tech, though. Like, I feel like that's the one place they're still, like, relevant. I mean, they're a legendary band, but that was, like, I remember I was at a house party one time, and they played Enter Sandman, and, that's the song they run out to, like, the football teams. They played Enter Sandman, and everyone started jumping, and we're on the second-story building, and the floor actually collapsed from the wall from everyone jumping. But like I mean they're a historical band, but I mean I feel like when you like 70, I mean
63
they
wailed. Well, here's the thing. So a couple things. So the reason why it was a big thing was that it was at Lane Stadium because they use Enter Sandman as their. And I was joking the whole time how many people were there that were like, probably out of the 75,000 people there, 68,000 69,000 of them were there specifically to hear the football song, which was I was joking about. I was like,
I want to hear the football song.
I'm here for the football song, Hearts with my friend. How much of this picture shit I saw at the Metallica concert was, I saw more of this with sorority girls doing selfies than bros throwing Slayers. And in fact, at one point in time, I watched this girl have to correct herself. She put up like the I love you thing, and then she was like, oh yeah, and then like corrected the Slayer, which
Longhorns.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it was wild, man. The crowd was really, I mean, look, the energy, I will say this, all right, before I go any further, I'm going to congratulate everybody that was at that show in Virginia Tech and Metallica, because when they played Enter Sandman, it caused an
football
earthquake.
song slap, bro.
It did.
It's caused 3 earthquakes before, like it's actually like measured on the Richter scale.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can feel it in my bones right now.
Yeah, this song is like the new Journey.
I want to
for
slam
white people.
I want to slam a southpaw, smoke a parliament.
I'm gonna shoot up a school. Shout out Virginia Tech. All
Look
right.
here,
Dude. Speaking
Yo,
of,
in my 4 years here, I've had more days off for school shooter warnings than snow.
well, you know,
yeah.
that's wild because the
Sad.
security at this event was lax. I mean, we are talking about lax. I could have brought a whatever I wanted in there. I'll just leave it there, man. It was.
Yeah, I found that when I went to the Fillmore yesterday.
Yeah, like,
If you're a female with a bag, they go through that motherfucker like they looking for a fucking
Yeah,
like cure to cancer. And I walked in, they didn't even like. I went through a metal detector. They didn't check my pockets, like anything.
That's why you don't see female mass shooters, because they always get stopped at the door.
Yeah, dude.
No, you're not
You
right.
shouldn't have brought that goddamn bag. You wouldn't have got caught, you shooter. And,
Trying to put a pistol in your tampon.
I think there was one of the school shooters. They don't say their names anymore. That's mine, but just keep it over.
If you want to hit the as you done.
Nah, not right now.
All right.
Fucking God damn it. Oh, she was transitioning to being a man or something. But they didn't really talk about. They don't really say their names anymore for a reason, because they don't want any more like copycats, because they're not getting notoriety like the first 20 of them got.
Yeah, dude. Well, that was so. Anyways, the show was like very. We'll get back to the fun stuff. So the show was very impressive. That when Enter Sandman, aka the football song, came on, the entire place, 73,000 people, 74,000, whatever it was, jumped up and down and screamed and yelled for. And it was fucking. I mean, it was very impressive. Now, I was on the field, so I actually got to be on Lane. I got to be on Worsham Field at Lane Stadium, which I thought was cool because I never did that as a Hokie.
Don't we do that when we graduate?
I didn't graduate.
Oh.
Do you guys? Is that a school where they rush the field, or they frown upon that? Because I know like when bigger football programs win, sometimes they like rush the field and like
The
jump.
one riot we had in my 4 years, it was an away game. We played Ohio State.
Fuck their field up.
But yeah, well, so it was cool because we got to be on the field. We got to go through the play. You could walk through the players' tunnel and slap the Hokie stone.
Oh yeah, I would sneak in the Lane State. My roommate and I would just like order oxys off the dark web, just fucking load up, and then just go to Lane Stadium and be like, "This is our college experience. We could be around bitches, but nah. Instead, we're just gonna go wander the halls of Lane Stadium."
Dude. Well, so that was cool. I smoked a joint on the field, which I felt vindicating given the trouble I'd gotten into for some bullshit, and I stand by that. And I did smoke many cigarettes on the field while I was down there. Which I thought was kind of, fun and rebellious to do.
45, yeah, I'm a rebel.
Hey, you know what's funny? So this kid,
Fuck you, Dean.
I definitely, I got to so a security guard rolls up on me. It's like a kid. He couldn't have been like more than 19 years old. And he's like, "Excuse me, sir, are you smoking a cigarette?" And I was like, he's like, "You can't do that here." And I looked at him, I go, "Dude, this is a metal show, all right?" And I just turned around and started smoking. And the cops, and I see these two cops on the other side of me, and they look at him and they look at me and they're like, his logic is flawless, kid.
Yeah,
like they were cool. The cops there were fucking so nice and cool. Like they were like, "Hey, they're like, you guys looking for the bar? It's right over there." And I was like, are you trying to entrap me, sir? Because this seems like you just want me to have this alcohol.
I mean, you're cops on a college campus. You just got to make sure no one shoot the place up. But other than that, I mean,
they used to hound people for drunk in public when I was there.
I've gotten 2 drunk in public. I've so the first one, and then I fell asleep in front of the Moss Arts Center on the way home one time.
I am so glad that like alcohol, like when I was younger and like would have gotten drunk in Publix or any of that stuff. I hated the feeling of not feeling my legs. Like a lot of people like that. I was always like, yeah, what if something pop off? I might have to fucking like plant my foot and I'm gonna be all rubber legged and not be able to high kick somebody.
Well, you do martial arts back then?
I
feel real safe with you.
Yeah, like it's 18 years.
18 years.
And then I did wrestling and taekwondo when I was younger. So
Yeah,
All right, Karate Kid.
dude. So, anyways, the show there. So that was very impressive. The guys all played fantastically. I heard only the F-bomb was only dropped once by Phil Anselmo, and he caught himself afterwards being like, fuck.
So they weren't allowed to say curse words?
No, it was like
He corrected his fuck with another fuck.
Dude, it was Fisher Price, My First Metal show. Like, everybody there, first of all, like, you know how you can tell somebody's a noob to the scene is, what's the number one rule with a concert?
Oh, you don't wear the band's shirt to the show.
I didn't even have to prompt you.
Why not?
Because you should wear another influence, like, when you go to show. You just look like a person that, like, that and wearing the shirt right after you buy it at the show.
You tie it on your belt like a normal Hessian. All right, that's what you do.
You will come in with a Sabrina Carpenter shirt?
For instance, last night, I mean, you could. Ironically, people would probably laugh at it.
I wore an ironic shirt. I wore my So What Now, No Fucking ZD shirt from The Sopranos, and it's when AJ's wearing the Pantera shirt. So it's a picture of AJ wearing the Pantera shirt. It says So What Now, No Fucking ZD on the top.
That's
and I wore
badass.
that. And in fact, Zach Wilde stopped and gave me 5, and he laughed at it, so whatever.
Whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
So, but... Yeah, and when we walked in, you just see there was droves upon droves, and everybody was wearing the same Ride the Lightning t-shirt. Everybody. You saw groups of 10 people wearing the Ride the Lightning t-shirt together. And I'm like, I asked Carbone, I'm like, what's up with that? And so Carbone, being the t-shirt guy, is like, oh, Target just did a run on Metallica Ride the Lightning t-shirts.
Of course he'd know.
So, that like these busloads of people were stopping by Target on the way there. Like, it would be really cool if we go to the Metallica concert.
We'll all get matching
ones. They do not
ones.
have a Target in Blacksburg, Virginia.
I guarantee you.
The Kroger.
Yeah, right. Harry Peter.
Really? I bet you that. I thought Blacksburg would have like that because it's a college.
Maybe Christiansburg.
Christiansburg. Well, you have to drive through Christiansburg for some people.
So
like 5 minutes.
I've never been to Virginia Tech. Like, what's up with Virginia Tech? It's in the middle of nowhere.
Kind of.
Yeah, I mean, I knew a lot of I worked in food my 4 years there. I knew a lot of the townies. And, I mean, like, I kind of feel like instead of, like, hanging out with, like, the hot, like, sorority hoes and frat dudes, I hung out with, like, junkies that, like quit school at, and now they're, like, 35. That was, like, my crowd in college. And, yeah, I mean, they would always shit on the students. I was like, well, first of all, you dropped out. Your parents didn't take you back. So you just lingered around here. 2, we're like 98% of this place's economy.
Well, speaking of, so I ran into my buddy that got us the tickets, a good friend of mine who never left Blacksburg either.
Yeah.
Similar to what you're saying. He now runs the Hokey House. Shout out to Brian Lobby. Yeah, he was really fun. He got the tickets, and it was cool. But yeah, we got to go to Hokey House after the show too. That was interesting. But at the show, it was just very wild because it was, like I said, it was Fisher Price, my first concert, right? So you had all these people wearing the Ride the Lightning t-shirts. Everybody's like, or they had the other one that they had in mass production was the t-shirt they probably sold at the bookstore only. Enter night, exit light, or whatever it was. I forgot
Yeah.
The bookstore would always have like the topical shirts,
right?
Dude.
And so they had like that was the 2 prevalent shirts there. That or the pop collar polos. There was a lot of frat boys in the house. But so we were like, it was just a very interesting. And so I was like, at one point in time, I'm like 3 rows back from the stage. Phil Anselmo's right above me, rocking, and I look around me, and it's just a bunch of like 65-year-old women in pantsuits. And, like, that decorative jewelry you get, grandmas wear that, like, makes no sense. It's, like, extra long and, like, beads here and dangles here and all this shit. And they're all, like, kind of getting into it a little bit. And I'm like, what the fuck, man? So I look over. I see these, like, 4 or 5 old dudes. They're, like, 56, 60 years old. And they start moshing. And they hit this, like, 14-year-old kid who's wearing a Ride the Lightning t-shirt. No shit. And he gets hit. And he's like, oh. And I'm like, oh, shit, I'm going to go mosh with these old dudes. So I fucking start making my way over, and I'm pushing through the crowd and shit. And by the time I get there, his dad comes up. He's like, hey, step the fuck back. Get away from my fucking kid. We're trying to watch a show here. And I just looked at this dude dead as I go, hey, motherfucker. I was like, we are at a fucking metal show.
Yeah.
And to be honest, your kid fucking needs it. And before him and I can get into it, security is fucking womb scoops the whole situation. They're like, hey, guys, we're going to take it easy tonight, all right? Like, there's a place to mosh. It's in the middle, and you had to pay like $10,000 to mosh, I guess, or whatever it was.
Jesus.
I saw more moshing in the Catamount Lounge on at Thursday night when brunch for or babies for brunch
You-
tore the fucking
Dude, you
roof
want-
off that motherfucker.
You want me to?
Oh, what happened at the Catamount yesterday?
We just had a pretty it was a pretty somber comedy night, I think, because the only persons that really participated were kind of sad. So Tina, having some things going on. Shout out to Tina, to Songbird Tina Marie Johnson. It was just it was George was not there.
Yeah, I wasn't there to brighten up the mood.
To spice it up. We had Kyle. Kyle did a great job though. Kyle, shout out
Kyle's
Kyle
not a bad dude.
No, Kyle Rodriguez. His is much more low tempo.
Yeah.
than
I watched a little bit of the feed to see some of the stuff, and
Yeah, it was.
But it is
Yeah, but the Catamount Lounge was more live that Thursday night after the Metallica show when we had Babies for Brunch and what was man, God, I can't. I'm drawing a blank on Thrown Down. Was that there? Or was
heavy metal Satan?
It was we had a heavy metal concert at the Catamount Lounge that night. The next night, so my middle of the week was action packed with.
So Kyle was good at the hosting last night, but he was not so good about being inside of a mosh pit. I'll tell you that much right now. Kyle's really good at that guitar, but don't put him in a mosh pit. He don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, but you know what? I give him credit where credit's due.
He made it right through it and didn't get
He's
touched.
a fighter.
Yeah,
that motherfucker matadored his way through that pit. Nobody touched him. He went right through that sumbitch.
That was that was an awesome show. But there was more moshing. Just to be clear, there was more moshing inside of the Catamount Lounge than there was at the Metallica concert. And but I guess for me it was like me just being a disgruntled old man on two fronts. Like I was a disgruntled old man that was like, oh, look at all these old posers, because there was a bunch of old people there that 20 years ago would have been like, Metallica, that's homeless people music. Like I would never, but they were there because it's a historical moment in time, and it was a very historical concert, and it was a very big point.
But if them and the band are both getting AARP cards at this point, I feel like,
dude,
I guess, I don't know.
You got 15% off at the merch stand if you had your AARP card. I'm not joking.
Yeah,
no, I'm just kidding. I'm joking.
Metallica was one of those weird bands where, like, if you were a skater, it was acceptable to listen to them.
Yeah.
Because, like, all the other, like, the faster punk rock bands,
thrash metal was based off of it.
Yeah, so it's like, but then there's, like, I also think that, like, once, like, the Black Album came out, there were a lot of fans that are like, hey, man, like that. Those are Metallica fans too. So it's like those people are definitely bringing their kids and going by the Tarjay to get matching T-shirts. So I guess, yeah.
When they dropped the football song though,
yeah,
I was hooked.
Dude, it caused a seismic reaction. There was it registered as an earthquake.
Three times at the stadium during football games they've done that.
Yeah, but this one was big. It was big. I think bigger than it's ever been. They had it was huge. It was very big.
That would have been wild to see that same show like with that intensity at like the old RFK.
Right. Or any show.
Yeah.
Dude, any show with a different crowd. Had it been a bunch of us in there, it would have been like that
Broke stadium.
The whole thing would have crumbled. It was just the mix of people. There was like a lot of elderly folks. There was a lot of children. There were, like, I kid you not when I say, when I counted at least 100 kids under the age of 10, people all brought their kids so they could be like, oh, look, your first concert's Metallica. And I appreciate that to a certain extent. And that had a novelty back in like the 90s and early 2000s. But now so many people do it that it makes the concert experience. Like when I lit up a joint, there's a kid standing like 2 feet away from me. And for a second I felt bad. And then I just blew smoke all over him. And I was like, enjoy the show, bitch.
Oh, yeah, I believe it. I mean, I remember when I was at Tech, on the drill field, they hosted a free Diplo concert sponsored by Victoria's Secret. Because Victoria's Secret, that's how they give back to,
emerging artists.
Yeah, when
kids with daddy
issues. When what's his name, lectures like sex trafficking a couple of the students.
Yeah.
What's his name, Larry Wexler?
Sounds familiar.
He's the owner of Victoria's Secret. Get into the Epstein stuff.
Didn't he die?
No, he's still alive. Get into the Epstein stuff. He's actually supposed to be higher than Epstein on the whole like pedophile ring thing.
Dude, he's
sponsoring college concerts and
well,
go ahead.
And I was trying to mosh pit to Diplo, and we're on the drill field, and they're like, "Oh, you're fucking up my shoes." I'm like, "Bitch, we are on the drill field. Wear some fucking Skechers."
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's just and then I remember me and my roommate, we were just kind of walking around to like random people like, yo, where's Diplo? What's the Diplo? who's Diplo, and then I remember there was like some old lady she was like, aren't you just the cutest thing? And I've been sexually assaulted more times than I'd like to admit. I mean, it's not like, they don't rate, huh?
Which one was your favorite?
She was nice. Nah, she grabbed me on the lips and kissed me, and I'm like, aren't you just the cutest thing? And then I just kind of, I walked away, and like I said, it's like, if you tried to rate, I'll drop kick you in the face. I'm cute, just like my teddy bear next to me, but like, I could, you safe with me too. Okay.
If anybody wants to sexually assault me that is, has a vagina, oh no.
You could be their sparring, but
I don't believe you can fight.
Dog, you don't want to fight.
Yeah,
just
look me up online. I'm there.
Yeah, I think he's just saying that because he usually pays to have dudes like.
I got aggravated assault charges actually on the barrier.
Nah, but it was, dude. But the show was awesome. But like, and I just had but it was really funny because I could like laugh at the old dudes who were posers. Like this one guy, I remember he was in my way and he bumped into me and we kind of like squared up and looked at each other and and I was like, yeah, I remember how my first Metallica shirt made me feel. Real rebellious, and he was like, fuck you, pretty much. But here's the thing. Part of the reason why I was an asshole at the show was because I was trying to give them somewhat of an authentic first metal show experience.
Oh yeah, you got to have that older dickhead.
Thank you.
Oh.
And I was doing that for the kids. This one kid, it was funny shit. He bumps into me and was like all drunk and he's like, hey, old dude. He was like, whoa. He's like, your first metal show or something? Just kidding. I can tell you have tattoos, man. Like, yeah, you've been to a metal show before. And I'm like, yeah, probably one or two. And then so he's like, I'm like, hey, he's like, yeah, man, how you liking Blacksburg? You liking the visit? And I was like, yeah. I was like, I love the 4 years I lived here too, man. And he looks at me, he's like, oh, you wait here. He was very surprised because I look like I steal catalytic converters, not like I make catalytic converters. And he's like, and I was like, I looked at him, I was like, yeah, man, this is gonna happen to you too, and just walked away. So I feel like
you mind fucked that little blast.
He was like, yeah, you think it's all gonna be khakis and polo shirts? Nah, bitch, you're gonna be wearing the fucking podcast that you were on at some point in time, sandals and no underwear. No, I'm just wearing underwear.
Free balling.
If it smelled like different, it would smell different here if I didn't.
Dude.
Swagger.
Like, I know my first like metal and punk rock shows were at like VFW halls, so that was something like I felt like my kid was lacking when she went to her first show. But I waited until she was like 13 or 14, and it was just like Coheed and Mastodon and Every Time I Die. So it was a good start. And like she came out being like, I like Every Time I Die, and I was like, holy shit, that's cool.
There's a lot of DIY metal out here, actually.
Oh yeah.
Like Josh Huff, he was on
the
show.
Josh.
We gotta get Josh, come back on the show, motherfucker.
Josh and
what's DIY metal?
Do it yourself. So it's the same ideology.
So that's just starting a
band. It's
right?
just totally independent. Like it's the same thing.
The more rudimentary and the more like,
you mean like
underground it is, the better.
Yeah, like grassroots.
Like in your parents' basement.
Yeah.
I
think that. I don't know.
DIY isn't the best way to explain that, though.
Like stuff like making podcasts and stuff like that. I know 100% it's easier, that branding process of it for me. Like the little stack things. You're like, this we could do this, we could do that. Is because of like when I was like 15, we were like making flyers and fucking going to like Tower Records and fucking other high schools and passing shit out. And like having a logo and be like, this is the logo, like the shit like that. That type of stuff is.
Oh,
like,
I get that. I just feel like DIY is kind of inherent in like, yeah, we're making a band. We kind of have to do it ourselves.
Well, so there's a lot of bands that are like the opposite of that is
industry plants.
Well, not even industry plants. There's like people that like are really good musicians. So you get known as like,
and they're doing it themselves too.
So say for instance, but like if you were to be a manager, like, because this does happen where managers know other players or people that they've had play on like session albums. They'll be like, hey, this dude would be good if you wanted to start a band, and the manager won't arrange it, but the manager will end up managing that band. So it's not the industry creating it, but it's like a manager that's like, there's a bunch of people that play.
Independent.
You're not even independent, because then what the manager does is based on like a demo that you just record, like 2 songs. They'll take that to a label, so you're automatically, you come out without having even toured. You just rehearsed and like recorded this thing. and then they'll get you like some type of like thing, like for instance, like Fleetwood Mac, the original guy, Peter Green, their original guitarist, when they were like looked at as more like not progressive, but like a like based on their music, and instead of just being like pop songs, he left, and then there were a couple other people left, but Mick Fleetwood and the bass player and the keyboard player were still there. And then Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham were just like this duo act that was performing around like places. The manager saw them, and then they just took them and plugged them into the band. So they just merged them at the ass, and they made a new band. So that type stuff happens, and then you get signed based off of like, oh, look at this. This is interesting. We'll put money behind this because it'll probably make money.
Yeah, so the creation of it is like organic.
Yeah, it's still organic. Like that, it's still like they're still writing songs. It's not like they're not musicians. It's just instead of having to like play like shitty venues and build yourself up step by step by step, that's more DIY.
It's like being Dave Navarro and just like being plug and play wherever you're needed.
Yeah.
I
mean, it's good as a musician to hit that point where you can just like
plugged in the car.
Yeah, like Wayne. Wayne is the fucking session player of fucking Catamount. That dude can jump on anybody's song and just be like, I'm a solo.
Wayne the Wiener Turner.
That motherfucker.
Wayne's a shit.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, Wayne's amazing, man, dude. Yeah, Wayne.
He's so fucking humble. That motherfucker just is like smiling and be like, I'm just gonna do.
Curry, you gotta get this thing up on your ball sack, on your chin, dog.
I want Wayne to deliver me Christmas presents.
Oh, you can just pull it all the way to your face like this.
Pull it
Look
right
where
up.
I am.
I know. This just
This ain't his first rodeo.
I mean, no. As even on doing stand up on stage, you know how often people are like, you can't, you never put the mic near your mouth. You just kind of keep it down towards your waist and yell at us. But like, I mean, you're loud enough and you're in enough small room, like it passes by. But I don't. For someone who
sounds like me masturbating.
Yeah.
Like, ah!
But nah, for someone who holds a mic like on a daily, I am terrible at keeping it close to me where it's like you could actually hear it.
I'm the opposite. I gotta keep that away. I can't like singing music. I would be like like all up in your face. So now it's like maybe I should get like room mics, like so they come down from the ceilings.
You just bug the place.
Or lavalier mics.
I feel like these mustaches act as a good,
good buffer.
Buffer, yeah. I was like,
oh, dude, we should do a beard contest after summer.
Okay.
Not even like length, but who keeps it the longest.
I mean, I plan on I'm growing mine out just a little bit longer, and then I'm gonna keep it. I gotta get Heather's gonna be trimming it up for me. Is it tomorrow's Thursday? No, Thursday. On 2 days, I'm getting my thing nice and angled, so I look like the fighting white guy of Notre Dame.
Yeah, I know there's a new black barber shop in town because I'm 100% gonna go over there. Last time I asked for a shape up, it was a white woman and it was terrible. I had to come home and fix what she had done to my fucking beautiful hair.
Man, there's a
I feel like if there was a black barber shop around here, people would know. There would be a cross on fire in front of it.
Nah. I found it in this town. They instantly like there's places I didn't even know were like hangouts because it's like we don't tell white people about this.
I've met one other
it's not
black
because they feel
dude here in Front Royal. It was that one guy who came to the open mic that one time. You know what I'm talking about? He's like, he was just like, I want to do stand up, and then like a minute, he did like some old like Steve Harvey joke, and then just like,
are you talking about Fulio?
Yeah, he had a name like that, and then
hey Fulio.
Yeah, after a minute in, he's like, I can't do it, guys.
Dude, he was funny because he came in thinking it was gonna be like Showtime at the Apollo. Like he was gonna get like lights were gonna start flashing from the fucking sky, like a band was gonna start playing for him.
Yeah, he's gonna get ushered off the stage.
So yeah, because he got on stage, he's like, all right, now that I'm on stage, y'all have to yell, "Hey Fulio!" Like we knew who he was. Like we were gonna be we had been privy to the fantasy that had led up to the bathroom.
All the way in the back.
All right, now the current's gone.
Dude,
how about those Indians?
Dun, dun, dun.
The Cleveland Indians, that is, and now known as the Guardians.
Fuck that, they still the Indians.
I know, man. That was I always think of that movie Major League.
Major League, dude. So we've had some controversies the last couple weeks. We haven't been on. So the Diddy trial kicked off.
Yeah, Diddy did it.
Dude. Now, all right, so the stuff that Diddy did that was illegal, they haven't talked about, and they are dragging the shit out of him. And I understand why they're doing it. But god damn it, is it interesting. Hell yeah. They just like, this motherfucker.
I'm not going to say anything that's going to make me sound like a sympathizer. But I am going to say that I do find the character points that they're making before they're making critical points it's a little bit, sus, man.
I get it, but I think what they're doing is
trying to make him look like shit.
Not even just trying to make him look like shit, but trying to notice or signal that there's a predilection towards certain behaviors, because I think that's what's like gonna happen. The fact that there were like escorts that like he would like, because that's illegal. So they're like the pattern of him having like multiple people like that around, and then his predilection for paying male prostitutes to fuck his girlfriend while he sits in the corner and you can't look at him.
Talking Diddy?
Yeah.
Talking about Diddy.
But like also the biggest alarming thing had not that much to do with Diddy. It had a little bit. But apparently they paid a dude $800 to do that. And I was like, this motherfucker, he didn't know it was Diddy? What the fuck, man? Why $800? You could have got like $2,000 for that shit. That's like, if you bring a prime penis, you should be getting that fucking, you should be getting the bag. Because they said she gave him, like, she comes down as Cassie and gives him a sack of money. And it was $800. Like, $800 ain't a sack of money.
It would look impressive if she did it like Uncle Scrooge with like, a fucking purse full of like Sacagawea dollars and shit.
Yeah,
Just fucking
I could see him doing some shit like that. But yeah, like it's got to be 2 stacks. It's got to be at least like $2,000.
What, to pee on him?
No. He didn't know. That's not what they talked about. Like that's other stuff. But
I did not know that was so valuable.
So she came downstairs, gave this dude $800. And she was like, the rules are you're gonna come up and we're gonna have a good time, and there's gonna be somebody watching in the corner. You can't look at him. And it was Diddy. So, but
Cassie told me I would fuck you for $40.
It's gonna be interesting. Like, so a lot of this stuff,
just as long as it covers by Uber, all right. Yeah.
When other people testify that haven't had a romantic or like marriage or like gotten their ass whipped by him during a romantic thing, because there's a video of Diddy beating the shit out of him.
Oh yeah, I've seen it.
So and that motherfucker, like, once that happened, I was like, I don't even care about the other shit. Like him having weird sex parties, that's not technically illegal unless he's like, doing some child stuff or like whatever, like some really illegal shit. Having a bunch of people at your house to have a fuck party is not technically legal. But beating the shit out of your girlfriend while wearing a robe in a hallway is pretty frowned upon in social parlance.
Running
like,
a train on like a 14-year-old with
yeah.
Jay-Z is kind of
yeah. So I haven't.
He's a hero to me, but at the same time, yeah, it's pretty illegal.
I have not delved into like the further allegations. The stuff that like I stopped at was the baby oil shit made me laugh because it's hilarious, because it's like, this motherfucker got like a lot of baby oil, and
comical amount.
But when they started talking about, like, they would say people's names, and I didn't look into any of it, but they said like Usher and Justin Bieber, and I remember them being like young, so I was like, that I guess. Like, did he invite him to the parties, or was he like?
They said an ex-president was involved.
I know the funniest video I've seen. Joe Biden. Is the funniest
G-dubs, dude.
The funniest video I've seen having anything to do with the Diddy trial. Somebody took like black gay porn and put it over a picture of Meek Mill, like, and they were like, "This is 100% accurate. This is a recording of Diddy railing Meek Mill."
Oh, I've heard that.
Yeah, but that's totally fake.
Poor Meek
like,
Mill, man.
Yeah,
you're just trying to be.
It sounded like it hurt.
And it really did. Because I'll go into a rabbit hole to figure shit out, and they were like, yeah, that was recorded by apparently some dude on Twitter or TikTok that like always does that. He takes pictures of like celebrities and like makes it like seem like replaces the shit, so it's like makes it seem like gay. So like that's where that came from, and it's hilarious.
I thought his bodyguard leaked it.
Nah, like that shit is 100% like
fake.
Yeah, I will say Cassie's husband is really gonna test his love here during this.
You know what? I will say this. I think he's a little white genius. 4
days straight.
He is a little white genius.
He's just sitting
he has
there
convinced his soon-to-be ex-wife to air the dirty laundry in public and get that bag, and then he's gonna take that bag and probably abscond. Like he is that motherfucker's like Mr. Sinister from the X-Men. He done plotted that shit out for years. As soon as she broke his heart, he was like, I'm gonna get the bag off this bitch and she gonna be embarrassed in public.
Or was it his plot the whole time? It was a long con.
Yeah.
Who was in on it was Diddy.
Yeah, he was like, ha ha ha. What did Diddy? He was like, this is how we gonna get you rich. I'm gonna go to jail.
He's like the Penguin, Diddler and the Penguin.
Yo, y'all watched the new Penguin show?
Yeah.
God, that was such a good ending.
That motherfucker's good as shit.
I haven't seen it yet because I want to watch it with Kelly, and we're trying to get through a couple other things, but yeah.
So I didn't like the new Batman movie that I guess that's the universe that it's from.
Yeah.
But I like that character because I think that would have fit in like the Christopher Nolan universe.
I like the new Batman. It was good.
I do a little bit, but it
ain't no Michael
There were
Keaton.
so many plot holes. Like when they were chasing each other on the motorcycles, I was like, yo, if you're on a motorcycle and there's another person tailing you and they are right behind you and you are both on motorcycles, I feel like you would have picked up on. There was like at least 10 like things where I was watching that movie and I was like, I don't think
Batman,
that's
dude.
yeah.
Of course it's gonna be like somewhat fantasized, there's
I mean, it's fantasized, but there's just kind of like, logical rationale,
Yeah, but there's like a penguin, and there's like all sorts of weird shit.
He's not like an actual penguin; he's a person.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, like, you know what I mean? Like, there's like
it's a talking penguin. I mean, come on.
it's a fantasy world, dude. I mean, you can't think of it like it can't always be completely accurate. That's what takes the fun out of it. I think that why like the older movies like we have like better. In my opinion, the margin of error from like action movies in the 90s versus like the concise CGI world we live in now. Like, I love Lethal Weapon, and I love like Steven Seagal, Out for Justice, Above the Law. I love like Jean-Claude Van Damme movies because there was these margin of errors. Like some shit made no sense. Like he'd punch a dude this way and the guy would fall forward.
Bro, your boy grew up on Bollywood. I understand. We have the fakest.
Oh yeah.
The fakest scenes of all time.
Yeah, I just think I like that shit. So I mean, personally, I kind of like I like the margin of error. I like that type of thing. I'll tell you what movie I saw this week that really I think embodied an entire era of Americana was Biodome.
So I saw it in the theater with my parents.
I saw it in the theater too. I didn't see it with my parents, but I did.
That shit was hilarious. I couldn't believe that they took me to see that movie.
Tribal, and then like we just danced for no reason. Remember that was what dudes in the 90s did. If you were just hanging out, you were so stoned that you would just be like, "Yo, dude, you know what we should do right now? Let's just dance." Whoa, we're so outrageous. But yeah, Pauly Shore, man. Pauly Shore is an amazing artist, man. Like we Carbone and I, we started a deep dive on him when we were on the way to the Metallica show. He has a song called Lisa, I Adore You. If you can bring that up, that is a
Lisa.
I'm a stony, crusty dude with the mop on top. Hold on, you got to hear this shit. It is good. Hopefully, it doesn't get us, taken down. But, yeah, dude, Pauly Shore. He was just like this, like surfer space dude from, California. Just trying to have fun all the time, like doing things that you always thought you wanted to do but couldn't do. He essentially was like TikTokers and like shit like that. The Weez and the Jews. We came up with a great idea for Shark Tank. That we would go on there and like they had the Margaritaville blenders. Oh, here we go.
I'm gonna ask you one question to see who can be in the video, okay? What do you want from life?
Well, I want to feed the children, house the homeless, save the rainforest, and finish up my woods class.
This is totally 80s as shit.
Oh, it gets better, dude. Hold on. We get...
Okay. Number 3.
I want Bon Jovi, cocktails, and one-night stands.
Bullseye. She nailed it, buddy.
Ow!
You're the one. You're my Lisa.
Lisa.
The singer is such a babe.
Are you putting on Lisa, I Adore You?
Hollywood to make it from the farm. She's totally fresh. Maybe she's from Atlanta, the Midwest. You know she's milked cows. So
This is Lisa, I Adore You?
Yeah.
Oh, this is the best
Lisa, the one I adore. I'm a stony, crusty dude with the mop on top. My melon's fully sweet, but I'll never stop. Stop trying to reach the nuts from coast to
Yeah, cocaine was a hell of a drug.
Lisa.
Jesus fucking Christ.
I adore you.
Oh, the 80s were fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
That was all cocaine.
I mean, I think it's a very hilariously written song. I like his fully tweaked melon, bro. He's just scoping for cones.
I totally love that shit, but it's definitely you can't do that shit now.
Nah, he
I
will.
wonder who can you objectify now? Because it used to be like in the 80s, it was like women. Yeah, like I remember those air fresheners that said "haul ass" and it just had girls' butt cheeks in the back of a fucking.
Oh, dude! Do you ever see that guy who drives around town that has the truck that says "No fat chicks"? On it?
What the fuck?
Yeah, dude, it's a truck. He hangs out at El Miguel a lot, man. Because we used to when Lauren and I would go for lunch with frequency, he would be there. And I would just laugh my ass off. I mean, it was like, a decal like this big.
Dude,
he's no.
Oh, dude.
Was he fit?
What's up?
Was he like
I
ripped?
don't know. I never saw him.
I feel like ripped dudes always end up with a fat chick. I always see it. It's like a bodybuilder and their girl's kind of chubby. And sometimes I think it's just because they want the challenge. They want.
They're feeders. They just want to they were like, I want to enjoy the chocolate, but you'll enjoy it for me.
No, I just think they're trying to pick
these
them up.
bodybuilders.
Like, all right, I need more weight.
That's like Kelly and I.
Because
on
of,
the opposite end.
because of those bodybuilders, you're gonna end up with a war, and it's gonna be a hot war. It's gonna be a war between incels and bodybuilders.
I think the bodybuilders would win.
See that you would think that, but those numbers of incels are growing.
I mean, the incels. They have the foresight to get a gun.
Yeah.
And wear black spray paint and whatever the fuck school.
Yeah, dude. There's several militias worth of them across the United States. Nah, I've definitely thought about that. That's probably enrages dudes that are like dudes that are on my 600-pound life. They're like, dude, what the fuck, man?
Yeah, man.
I feel like
that's a lot of work.
Of an incel tends to be pretty frail though,
Nah, not nowadays.
I mean, if you're my 600-pound, I don't even think you're involuntarily celibate. I think you're just I chose food and I'm happy with my, I could be wrong.
The internet's a wonderful place. I bet you if we looked up dynamics, or I bet you there's a certain type of person, that ends up with that lifestyle.
Well, there's a whole thing that's feeders and whatever that they do that type of thing. Like one partner just enjoys feeding the shit out of the other one, and they DoorDash them when they're not around.
I guess there's something for everything. There's dudes that are bug chasers. Gay dudes that look for fucking people that are have different STDs. There's actually I forgot what they I think it's called bug chasers. We read an article a long time ago, not on here, but it was about there's a website. It's sort of like Tinder, but it's for people that have already have AIDS and STDs, and it lists how infectious they are. And if they're on PrEP or any of these other things, other dudes, there's a documentary about it, and it is sad because during the documentary, I don't think it was Vice, I think it was another person that made a documentary, but this one kid, he was probably 22, but when he first came out the gate, fucking dudes, he got obsessed with it, and then kind of got convinced to catch AIDS, and then the dude dumped him. So this kid fucking.
No, I promise you, the AIDS makes you feel so much better.
Yeah. That was the wild thing is because there's thousands of people on this. There's thousands of people on these websites.
You came, but have you ever came on AIDS?
But yeah, that website, I forgot what it's called, but it was it has down to levels of how much AIDS they got in their blood. But in that documentary, that kid starts crying in the end. He's like, "No, I'm stuck with it." And I was like, "Dude, this is it's hard to watch because it's it's a terminal disease. I guess now it's sort of semi-treatable, but it's That's dumb.
There's
got this like
there's a
tension,
whole
like,
South Park.
bro. That's bad.
There's a whole South Park episode about that, which is fantastic. It's been 22 and 2/3 years, which makes it okay to joke about. Now it's been probably 32 and 2/3 years.
Yeah, there's people like feet, so I don't understand that either.
And,
So
I don't want to yuck anybody's yum. As there's the
I'll yuck certain yums if you try to.
Dr.
I
If you,
appreciate a good foot.
yeah, like that one. I don't understand it because I don't like it, but I don't like mayonnaise when it's in the store. I don't care about it. But like if somebody was like, "Yo, I like people shitting on my hand," I'd be like, "Yo, that's too much." It's just like I got to draw the line. I've shit in the woods. That shit untethered. That's a whole nother level.
Depends on the shit.
Shit tethered by water is so much more deal withable. When it is just like when you shit in the woods, you're like, "Oh, yo, that really came out of me. This is fucking terrible."
poop.
What else happened? Oh, Kanye came out with another song.
Dude, Kanye is, and again, there's just
Genius voice of the generation.
It's an ever-growing list of people that I have to distance the artist from the art, and it's crazy. And people are like, I just can't listen to this person anymore. I can't listen to that person anymore. At the rate we're going, it is going to be like if fucking Ace of Base and Roxette are going to be the last thing left on my
So-
fucking
I'll say
playlist.
you could have seen this coming. I mean, like
He's crazy. It's
I will say, like Kanye's probably like inspired me more than any other person on earth, so he'll always have that. But like you could have seen that from the beginning. He's like, nah, wait till I get my money, and then we gave him $1 billion. It's like he's just $1 billion who, a dude with $1 billion who proved his point. And I mean, like, I feel like he's just more cringe than it. I mean, like,
I think he's mentally unwell.
No?
I think he's mentally unwell. Like he should be like medicated.
I mean, he's mentally unwell, but you got $1 billion. Do you really have to answer to like reality at that point? I mean, I don't.
I guess to a certain extent you don't, but you do because eventually, like people will come for that money. Like money is like they will liquidate that somehow. Like
he will transcend into
the next level of human existence.
We'll try to get him, and then we realize he's a hologram, and then he just starts floating.
So even like, and this is going to be wild to say that cousin song, he can get away with it because people are like, like he could explain that away. Saying Heil Hitler song, I don't know if you can get away with that. Like at this point, like, dude,
you know what's wild? And sorry to cut you off before I forget. There was a song. It was Jim Jones, Ball.
Yeah.
It was called. He had a song called "Black Nazis." It is scrubbed from the entire internet, dude. There is no trace of it, and either I fucking Mandela affected. Again, it was like in my old Blacksburg. I listened to this song, I guess, in like a different dimension. Yeah, there was a song called "Black Nazis," and it was like Diplomats, Jim Jones, and it was a banger. It was a fucking awesome song.
It's probably one of those ones that got leaked, like back when we had Napster and shit.
Yeah,
it was on.
I mean,
man,
you could have seen this coming, and I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't even think it comes. Like, cause he had that one tweet one time where he was like, "Oh, I saw 21 Jump Street. Jonah Hill made me not hate Jewish people anymore."
Oh yeah. Like he's definitely a wild boy.
It's just. It's kind of, it's like it's more of him trying to get attention than anything,
Oh yeah.
I don't. It's just kind of, you get diminishing returns. So he's like, all right, I sucked my cousin's dick. That was cool for like 2 hours, and then we just moved on.
I never I've thought about this. Like, out of all the things you could say in a song, that one is wild. Because he starts the song, like, I literally heard that song like 3 times before I knew that was the actual song, because people would put it over other things, and they were like, this is how Kanye's song sounds, and they were just matching it up with this like visual to make it more funny, and I thought somebody had made up a fake song on the internet about him like sucking his cousin's dick, and it's like, no, that's 100% how the song starts off. He's like reading dirty magazines, reenacting. Holy shit, this is real. But the Heil Hitler one, man, I've noticed 2 things. That's a bold stance to take and a bold thing to say as a black person.
Any person.
Yeah. Well, as a person had that your lineage has experienced like extreme racism and slavery and like death at the hands as being othered. It's wild to me that you would engage in that type shit.
I mean, I don't even hear it as Heil Hitler so much as I have a lot of money. And it's just like, let's see how far this money can take me.
And I get that too. And I like, there's like back in the day, like Sex Pistols and early punk rock people would like put on swastikas to be shocking. And I get the like, that's not the ideology they're taking with it. It was more to just piss people off. But in that time, that's kind of wild because that's like your grandparents' generation that went off and did that shit, like our parents' generation. That fought in that war and fought Nazis. So it's like, sort of like fuck you to your fuck you, dad. I get that. Kanye is just wild for this to me. Like, even if he does have billions of dollars, it's like even if it does get attention, it's wild to me that like he needs that attention with that much money. That's why I think he's mentally ill.
No, he is, and I love Kanye.
Yeah, he's I can't deny the music.
You're gonna see the story of Kanye is not gonna end with him being 70 years old with his grandchildren on his lap that's not gonna be his end.
He's gonna die like in one of them like his own self-made spaceship, and it's gonna be made out of like cotton and
he likes metal, dude. He's got the titanium grill, remember?
Yeah. Ooh, yeah. Those first fucking 3 albums were great.
That's what I'm saying. He's inspired me more than most people, but it's like, wow. I mean, the thing of the appeal of Kanye is like this is like his theme the whole time where it's like, I'm just gonna believe in myself against all odds. And even like, he keeps on doing it where it's like, first, I believe in myself, that's cute. And then he's like, like the whole slavery was a choice and people got mad at him. He dropped the Fire album and they're like, all right, we get it.
I almost forgot about that one.
Yeah, and then he had another one. I mean, this Kim Kardashian, he
started off good, just scaring Mike Myers, and then he just went
but I mean, it's just like, the guy just like lives uninhibited. And now it's like, wait till I get my money. He knew from even back when he put that song out in like 2008 that he will probably become a Nazi. And that would be his end. He knew 10 years from now, I will be so famous and influential that I'll just be a Nazi. And that's just, he saw it coming. And part of me is like, I respect that. Like, I mean, you shouldn't be a Nazi. But like, the belief in like, I will say I'm a Nazi and I won't get deported to El Salvador. I
just can't fathom. Like, it's like I called this. Remember Lil Nas X? He made all that country stuff, right?
Yeah.
And then his next album, he was like, "I'm a lap dance Satan."
But Satan's tired.
But
people
it's
Satan.
So
when you're a Satanist, people are like, "Good for you."
For the overall
action.
So when we think about Lil Nas X, his first song, but then he had other songs, and the only people that really like supported him, country music didn't really want him around except for Billy Ray Cyrus, but it was sort of like this pop phenomenon, and black people seem to like it too, right? And then he went gay and satanic. You can do one or the other as a black artist. You can't do both.
You cannot be gay.
I mean, I disagree when you got like Cardi B or not? No, what's it? Playboy Cardi saying I'm a vampire, a vamp life. That's just kind of, I guess, you got black kids being emo now, and I think that's
a little bit. But I don't take them like those Lils and all. Like, I can't take that shit serious because half them.
Lil Wayne was a thing. Big Pun, you always had stuff like that.
But I guess I see it like this. Like, when I like think about Lil Wayne, that's the last Lil that I took like super serious. And in hip hop, what I look at now, and maybe I'm old, but like those motherfuckers kill each other every other day or go to jail for like rapping.
I mean, rest in peace. I loved them, but like XXX Tentacion is a stupid fucking name if you're trying to market. But it worked for him, But those are the names you have now. They're Xbox gamer tags. They're not.
Yeah. I just can't get into like the mumble rap stuff. It's just like.
I mean, that's why I hated seeing. Like, I mean, all the Nazi stuff aside, when Kanye, if he put out a gospel Nazi song, I would probably bump it.
That gospel album wasn't that bad.
I mean, his older stuff, Jesus Walks, it was very, soulful, derivative, and now I feel like he's trying to like change with the music as a that's the part where I mean yeah sure the whole Hitler thing that's not right, but it was more like damn, why do you sound like a SoundCloud bro?
I wonder what would have happened if he would have taken instead of
okay.
I guess if he wouldn't have became in the forefront more like for a better mention like P Diddy style producer where he was like still in the forefront and just stayed more like Quincy Jones where he was like known for his producing. Would Kanye's life been different?
That's a story. I mean, he put out like a 10 minutes. He put out a song at the end of his first album. 3 minutes of it was the song, and then 10 minutes of it was just him talking about himself. But if you're saying like, yo, everyone wanted me to be a producer, I knew I could rap. So it's like, I mean, you can't. If you tell Kanye you can't rap, he will rap. If you tell him you can't be a Nazi, he will become a Nazi.
Yeah, I guess
he's just angst.
I guess I appreciate the producer's role in making like albums that are like art. Yeah. So like I imagine like it would have been wild to hear him work with not just hip hop artists, but like any other genre. And like if he would have ended up being a producer, he could have been prolific. Like Quincy Jones was like famous for that. The motherfucker like would make a Michael Jackson album and then like make a bunch of other stuff. Sanford and Son theme song. That motherfucker is 12 minutes. That is one of the greatest songs. That's definitely in my top 10. Dude, that song is...
We had it rock and roll. Cat About Loud.
Every instrument has a solo in that song, and he wrote all that shit. So, like, that's fucking next level. He's like, all right, time to move on to the next instrument solo.
It's a producer that makes a song.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I know a lot of people who are good with, like, their words, but it would suck if they didn't have a good producer.
The role of a producer is much more important it's even more important in hip-hop because most of the time they're making the beat and then the rapper comes in with the lyrics.
At least in a lot of other genres, if you're singing, you can't take that away from the singer. But like as like a music, if you're a rapper, you gotta lean on that motherfucker. Recording studio, they you alter their EQs and their voice.
Oh yeah.
So it's like
And producing's fun if you like doing it. It's like in a band or like a person that's wrote their own songs and is coming in to record and you're overseeing it.
But
that's fun because you get to work with them and be like, hey, try it like this. The best producers are like, just try it. Like Rick Rubin, all those people. Let's see. All right, let's see what happens.
Yeah, they're like water, like the Bruce Lee quote, be water.
Be water.
But yeah, I mean, like, unless you're like one of those Lupe Fiasco style rappers where you like center all your lyrics on like a certain point or story or whatever.
Flat Earth.
But like Flat Earth?
No.
If he makes a good song about it, I mean, if Kanye puts out a song about Flat Earth.
Dude, we had a giant flat earther on the show once.
But not like
yeah. Dude.
We had a gigantic flat earther on the show once.
Like, I mean, see, this is my old boss used to be a flat earther, and he would send me TikToks every day telling me that the earth was flat. But the way I took it was like, all right, well, he writes my checks. So as far as I care, until I could afford property on this earth, it's flat. I don't care. It does not, so it's like, I mean, flat. If you're super, adamant about flat Earth, whatever. But when people are super adamant about it's round, bro, trust me. I haven't been up there, but you're stupid. You both sound stupid to me.
I guess, but I don't know.
That's between Jeff Bezos and God and Katy Perry.
Like, I guess I always look at. It's funny you mentioned God. The only reason I look at it as being a ridiculous thought process is because it always the people that came up with it, it's always tinged with the earth is only like 5,000 years old style shit.
Yeah, I mean,
and I don't want to poo-poo anybody's belief system, but that's not true. I guess I went to a church, right, with my parents. They went to a church, I should rather say, and they had some guest speaker come in, and that dude started talking about like the earth is only 5,000 years old, and I was probably like 16 or 17. I was like, yo, this bullshit. What is this dude selling? Automatically.
I've never aged any of these rocks. People thought at one point there was weapons of mass destruction in Iraq till there wasn't. So it's like, I mean, I don't fucking, I mean, it just, as long, if it affects me, it does, but I mean, sometimes you like to believe, if it's 5,000 or 40 billion, does the Anunnaki shit still, like play, like what? But I mean, it's like I don't really fuck,
I guess, but you know,
everything before 1995 could all just be a simulation to me. You know?
I mean, you can argue it back, but like in terms of like because I've heard their arguments, but like yeah, they do like radio carbon dating on like things like the pyramids, and those are definitely older than 5,000 years. So that's when I'm like, all right,
I mean, it can still be flat in like a billion years old. I mean,
yeah,
I'm not saying it's flat.
No.
I mean,
Like
as
yeah,
far as
if the only thing that changed in the thought process of flat Earth was that the Earth is just flat, and there wasn't extra add-ons, I could see the argument. But like when it takes more suspension of disbelief for me to believe like the arching points that they have that the Earth is flat. It's not.
I mean, yeah, like I said,
and dinosaurs. I've heard people argue that dinosaurs were fake and they were planted by Satan. So like that's why I guess I take it less serious.
Satan just broke out his dinosaur toys.
Yeah, dude, those are to throw you off the course. The Earth is flat. You didn't know that?
Yeah, but like, why is Satan so hell bent
Yeah.
on us believing that it's like what's the
you know what I'm gonna do?
game for Satan on that? You
know what we gonna work on today, demons? All right, hear me out. We
fuck with them.
We gonna make some fake bones of a fake animal. We gonna plant them all around the earth and the dirt. That'd be fun. Yeah, it's about time to wrap up, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I think we're there.
Next week, I saved talking about it. We can talk about the Wine and Craft Festival that went off without a hitch and was wonderful in Front Royal last weekend.
Yeah, dude. But Lita will be back.
Yes,
she shall return triumphant.
Dun, dun, dun. We'll probably have some movie list. We'll have guests coming up. We got to get Abe on here. I got to figure out the date for that. This month or next month, I think we're gonna have him. Also, we're gonna have a fucking wonderful show. It'll be there'll be some world premiere
of
Homeschool Prom King. Phil and all the guys are gonna be on June 3rd. And the next day, June 4th, their album comes out. So check that out. Listen to those shows. And if you see Homeschool Prom King playing in your city or town, go see them.
Yeah.
What do you have coming up, Karan?
Let's see. I got I got some shows going on.
Sorry, just the door.
I'm actually about to write my manifesto after this, and so you can check that out on 4chan.
Damn, son.
I got some shows coming up.
What you got?
Fucking June 13th in Sterling, Virginia, LMAO comedy show. I'll be in Kensington June 7th. Fucking, I got a bunch of. I'm terrible.
Lounge,
just look at my stories on Instagram. Kason Comedy.
Yeah, Kason Comedy. That's where you're gonna find out. He'll be at the Catamount Lounge June 21st.
Hell yeah!
Part of our supporting team that's gonna be doing the Chris Porter and a bunch of weirdos show. We're super excited about that. Chris just won the do you know the name? What's the name of the competition?
Oh, the ROFL, the Richmond Funny Bone competition.
Yeah,
big club.
Yeah, crush
He's a good
that
comic.
shit. Yeah, dude, comedy, motherfucker. Comedy. Yeah, we're doing comedy. That's us. We're jokers around here. Myself tomorrow night, I'll be at the Hog Shack hanging out with the homies. Black and White Comedy. Big up my man Connor and Ace Williams. Then next Wednesday at Give a Hoot Comedy. Big up to Sandy and Irwin over there. Thursday night, the 29th, we'll be at the Old Brogue with John Yeager and Adrian Russell doing the callback comedy set at the Old Brogue, which is an old stomping ground of mine. It should be a good time. And then I'm going to try to get out for the Golden Age after that. Over at Alec Quinn's thing going on over there. And then we got, June 17th. You'll be on that opening joint for Dwayne White and Brandon Moore and Glenn Lawrence. That's another Black and White show. That should be awesome. I'm trying to think of other shameless plugs I can do. Helltown Radio every Tuesday. Catamount Lounge during the week. That's 124 East Main Street.
Mm-hmm.
George produces podcasts, by the way.
George is producing podcasts. Chris Bishop is producing graphics. Curran and I are making jokes. I'm the fuck up out of here. I'm done.
go over to Helltown Radio for all the socials. Subscribe and like Spotify, YouTube. Go over to Capital MMA. 8 local locations in the Northern Virginia, D.C. metro area. If you want to get trained or teach a kid how to whip a bully's ass, come on over. Catamount Lounge Monday nights. I host the open mic, so come over if you have anything. If you want interpretive dance, some poetry, spoken word, music, stand up.
124 East Main Street, Front Royal, Virginia.
Monday sign up starts at 6. You can't have somebody write your name, so you got to be there.
Gotta be there.
Performances start at 7 and go till typically 10.
We'll go later if we have to.
If we have to.
If we have to, Brady.
The line fills up fast. We have a reserve list in case somebody drops off. So put your name down, sit and watch, and shut the fuck up.
And have a blast.
Also, on Twitch on Sunday mornings, you can catch me and Gary Garcia doing a Twitch cast. He talks about a lot of left-wing politics, and I talk about penises and titties. It's a good match. Anything else for the good of the order?
Yo, shout out to the homies, the Bargoyles again, Nick and Isaac. Shout out to K Squizzy, my man Karan Singh, for coming out here on a whim.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, man, thanks for coming out, dude. It's always good hanging out with you, dude.
Fun.
Yeah, it's always fun, man. You're a friend as well as a colleague, and I enjoy that about you.
Yeah, dude. And whoever between you and Mike Hasty,
yeah,
who's going to take home the title of the 4th Horseman?
Yeah, I could see like the Mortal
He
Kombat.
probably got more stories. I'll give
Doesn't matter. You know, you could come back before him.
All right, just make sure we don't got to fight for it.
Nah, dude, you just got to learn a nice single leg sweep outside.
I took a jiu-jitsu class for like 2 months.
Yeah, dude, you just need
He's
a good sweep single. Somebody that's lanky, you can take him down. He might sugarfoot. You don't know.
I usually just let them try to. I mean, if they go all wrestling, I kind of just let them. And if they're just dumb enough for me to get their neck on the way down,
hit him with that arm drag.
Oh, guillotine.
Oh,
and
hit him with the guillotine.
If I don't get that, I'm going to lose.
You just got to work on that sprawl. Sprawl, take the back.
Oh, I can't shrimp or anything.
Oh, dude. Yeah, get right. Do some shrimps. Go to the Capitol. Just remember, we tell you every week, 2 fingers in a butthole is better than 1 in the pee hole. Coochie pink, booty hole brown.